Right on. So I got some stuff in the last couple of days. So this is right here. This is a cheap an oil, or no, this one is the so this is like an Amazon radiator catch can. So that should go good on the FireTurd. It's at least red. So I got a better catch can since I lost the cap on that plastic one. Who knows where on the track in Vegas? And then, ooh, man, that one smells like cheap China rubber hose. Ooh, man. Okay. So then I got another oil breather can. This one has a pressure gauge on it. It's also red. It also has like a little sight window so I can see, you know, how full it is, because you got to unscrew the friggin' bottom off of it to empty it. But it's got these really, really small inlets on it. So I was thinking I would use that as a second can, like maybe off of a valve cover or intake or something. Give it a little bit more oil breather, and then it'll let me kind of see how much crankcase pressure I got building up in there. So that was just kind of an idea. I got the case saver for the Turbo 400 because I figure I need to go into the transmission anyways. I need to drop it out of the car. I need to go back in it. I need to do the dual feed mod in there, and I need to kind of look it over and see if I hurt it at all racing against Amelia. And then I got a trans brake solenoid. So I'll put the trans brake solenoid where the vacuum modulator goes on the outside of the transmission. I believe that should work. And so then I can, when I got the transmission out, I'll go ahead and put the transmission shield on it, and then I've got the flex plate shield to put on it. That way I'm SFI legal with the SFI flex plate, SFI flex plate shield, SFI transmission shield, because I need to start getting ready to go faster and faster. So I'm putting my feelers out on the social medias, trying to find somebody who might have just a stock Gen 4 5.3 liter piston, so I can just replace the one piston in that one motor. But I think I'm going to go ahead and step this thing up to the 408. So what I plan on doing today, because it's fixing to start snowing, so it says coil bind is at a 1.050. So see, it says coil bind is at a 755 lift. So it's 650 max, 755. So since I'm going to be just over the 650 with the 1.8 rockers, I think I'm going to just go ahead and throw those on the 408. So we'll give it a shot, I guess. So I'm going to stab the Tick Polluter Stage 3 camshaft in the 408. I'm going to put the new lifters and trays in the 408. I'm going to, I found my other set of push rods. So my other set of push rods, I'm going to go ahead and see if they're going to fit through the holes in the cylinder heads, which they're really stinking fat. They're a big tapered push rod. So I may have to drill out the holes in the cylinder heads where the push rods go through just a little bit bigger. But because they're tapered, I only need it at the top where that hole is. And so I may have to open those up a little bit, so I might do that if those push rods require that. And then I should be good with the push rods. So I'll have camshaft, lifters, new lifter trays, the cylinder heads, the push rods. I've got two brand new head gaskets. So I'll put the head gaskets on, I'll put the heads on, I'll just put, I think I'll just take the timing chain from the FireTurd. So I'll take the timing chain from the FireTurd. I'll take the oil pump from the FireTurd motor. And I'll throw it in on, well, I probably have a stock oil pump around here somewhere. Well, I'll find an oil pump. I'll put the oil pump on. I'll put a stock timing chain set on the 408. So then I think the Summit balancer will come off of the FireTurd motor, and that'll go on the 408 because the 408 is a keywayed crankshaft. So I may have to actually go get a little bit more piece of keyway for the balancer, but then I can keyway the balancer on to the 408. I can get the oil pan and the pickup tube. I can get all that stuff changed over to the 408, and we can get the 408 pretty much wrapped up and ready to go. And then I can get the 5.3 on the engine stand, so I can get the 408 in the FireTurd, but I'll have to drop that turbo 400 out, and I will have to do all that fun stuff with the 400 before I put the engine back in the FireTurd. And so therefore that's going to be really fun in the snow and all that next couple of days. Yay. But I'll just do what I got to do. I really want the FireTurd running. And I'm thinking, because I need more fuel system, I actually need more fuel system on the FireTurd. I have a setup for a dual pump. So instead of my single pump, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go after putting in a second fuel pump. And that might give me enough fuel for the turbochargers, because I do not want to tear up my 408. Maybe what I'll have to do, see that fuel tank right there is from Project Blue Chip. It's about half full of fuel right now. I have to empty it, but maybe what I can do is take that fuel tank, take some of my metal, and actually fabricate up a sump off of the gas tank coming off the back side of it. So when I hit the throttle real hard, all that fuel goes to the back. But then maybe I can do that and run like a -6 return to the tank. Keep that stock -6 return, but come out with a -10 feed out of the gas tank. Maybe that'll work. That is kind of the objective, is to get the fuel system upgraded, get some more of the safety stuff put on the car, get the transmission. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be making a lot of power, and so I'd like to put the case saver in the transmission and do the dual feed mod, just to make sure that the transmission will survive the power output of the motor, especially stepping up to the 408 cubic inch, because that's going to be quite a bit more torque. So I want it to survive. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing today. And then of course it's supposed to snow like tomorrow and the next day. So that's Colorado for you, I guess. Anyways, I'm going to get to it. Here's my #1 piston. So, here's the #1 piston came out. It looked just a little bit burned on top. But then when you open her up, I'm missing ring lands. And I'm missing piston ring. And that one's coming off in more than one chunk. And that one's coming off in more than one chunk. Like, yeah, see? Woo! That got burned pretty good. Woo! Piece of ringland. Whole bunch of burned piston. I think all the flakes in the motor are actually piston because my bearings don't look bad. They look like they were just starting to seat in. So the bearings don't look bad, but that piston's hosed. Wow. Yep. So that one definitely needs replaced. Now, if I can clean up the cylinder wall, it doesn't look like it's... I can feel the aluminum up here on this corner where you could see it. I can feel the dirty bottom of the cylinder where it was dirty, but it's not all scored up. So, I should be able to get away with just buying another cheap set of pistons and then getting this motor back online, I think. Because I didn't break it, I burned it. And that's a fuel system issue. Fuel system and tuning. Because, like I said, I had the Crayola tune. You know, I just had to plug it in and run on the spring pressure on the turbos. But even on spring, it was, I think, 19.8 pounds of boost. And then I know that internal wastegate on the little T3, T4 is not enough wastegate to keep the small turbo from creeping. So I think the internal wastegate on that is like 7 pounds. But the big 60 millimeter wastegate around the GT45 turbo is like, I think 12 pounds or 14 pounds. I think it's 12. So I probably creeped that small turbo up, I would say at least 12, maybe more. But I only had enough fuel pump for about 600 horse, so I know I went way past what the fuel was capable. Either that or I got so high in the scale that I didn't have large enough wire for the current draw on the pump, and the pump started to fade out. And you know, no matter what it was, I ended up going lean. And when you go lean, you burn stuff because it's too hot, especially as low elevation as it is there. Probably not nearly as critical at the elevation here in Colorado, since I'm over a mile high. I mean, elevation here at the airport where my hangar is like 6,000 and something, and the house is at like 7,000. So I mean, what it really amounts to is I got too lean, burned a piston, and that was all she wrote. But had I known that ahead of time, I probably just would have, because I had the brand new head gaskets with me at the racetrack. So had I been able to, if they hadn't shut the track down for wind on Saturday evening, I probably would have done this on that run, made it this obvious, and I would have been breaking down the motor in the car like I just did. And what I would have, because they got the 24-hour parts store down there in Vegas, the AutoZone is 24 hours, so I would have broke it down. I would have seen the burned piston, and what I would have done was I would have cleaned up the cylinder head surface and everything. I would have put on my new head gaskets because I was blowing through into water jackets. I would have taken these two lifters out for the number 1 piston. I would have taken the lifters out. I would have taken the push rods out, and I would have probably taken out the rockers off of the number 1 cylinder, and I would have let that just swing as dead weight on the crankshaft, and it would give a little puff back and forth, but it would create a little bit of windage, but it wouldn't be doing anything like it was. The turbo wouldn't be blowing stuff into the cylinder, you know, all of that stuff. It wouldn't have been trying to ignite what was in the cylinder, in the block, because I'm sure that's what it was trying to do. I'm sure my oil looks so nasty because it's got exhaust soot and you know, just crazy stuff going on in it. I would have probably run it on 7 cylinders. You know, I probably would have hooked up the Mac valve on the big turbo and just backed out boost on it. Put some pressure on the bottom side to open that wastegate sooner. And I probably would have run it anyways. Might have had more success, but my throttle cable, I probably could have bought another one at the parts store or found one at a junkyard in town, local or whatever, something my uncle running for it. And hell, somebody at Bell S-Fest might have given me one, for all I know. But I think I would have run it on 7 cylinders and raced it anyways. But yep, I think that's really the only problem. But if I have to, I'll take it and get an oversized board down at the machine shop, have them deck it real quick, and I'll put a $220, $230 set of pistons back in here, and I'll go at it again. Yep. Bearings look great. The cam bearings look great. The rod bearings look great. I would assume that all my bearings look great. The only thing is this aluminum that's melted on the cylinder here and that piston. Replace that and I'll run it again. But I think I'm going to throw the 408 in a FireTurd. Say to hell with it. Use this for playing around with my own stuffed motor, whatever. But if I want to be serious at Rocky Mountain Race Week, yeah, I'm going to do up to 408 right and have a good run. Anyways, it's Mother's Day. I'm going to go to the store, pick up some steaks to cook for my mom because it's Mother's Day for dinner, and I'm out of here. I'll see you on the flip side. Do a little every day and you get a long way.